Despite having a plethora of medical benefits, 40% of Americans admitting to smoking, and positive research involving pain management since the 1940s, but it's still considered a Schedule 1 drug. Now, in case you're wondering what we're talking about, we're talking about cannabis, marijuana, the wacky tobacco, the devil's lettuce, hemp, Mary Jane, whatever you prefer to call it. Now, there are two main strains of cannabis. There's an indica and a sativa. The indica is derived from the Hindu Kush, India, which has more of a relaxing feeling and more associated with the name hemp. Sativa, on the other hand, is kind of a body high. It gives you energy, kind of like an energy drink or caffeine, which would be more considered marijuana. Now, there are, these days, we really don't consider the indica and sativa. They go by more defined names. So the more popular substrains, and we'll talk about some of their traits. Now, the Acapulco Gold is praised for its euphoria-inducing and energetic effects. It's more known for reducing fatigue, stress, pain, nausea, things of that nature. Blue Dream, which is relaxing, but it's not a sedative. It eases pain, cramps, and inflammation. Now, your Purple Kush induces bliss, gives you a more relaxed feeling. So it would be more of an indica. Reduces pain, muscle spasms, and also helps with insomnia. So it's definitely good for the bedtime use. Afghan Kush, which is grown in between Afghanistan and Pakistan, is good for sleeping and relaxing. So it also helps with lack of appetite and pain relief. Now, the chemical components of cannabis across the board is CBD and THC. This is going to be our main focus of topic. So the CBD, or cannabinol, is connected with lowering psychosis and better memory, along with a plethora of other medical benefits that we'll talk about in a couple moments here. Now, THC, which is tetrahydrocannabinol, it affects more of the hypoactivity, hypothermia, your spatial and your verbal short-term memory. Now, the causes and effects of CBD and THC. THC has been connected with increasing depression, anxiety, loss of memory, and things of that nature. So THC is more on the bad end. Unfortunately, that's what the stoner culture goes after. So the higher the THC levels in the cannabis or the marijuana, then the more they would like to smoke it. CBD, which is more the medicinal side of it, is known for helping with seizures, glaucoma, arthritis, Alzheimer's, nausea, appetite, things like that. Now, the side effects, which is mainly the THC portion, when there are higher THC levels, it's going to be the greater the health risk. And unfortunately, with the CBD oils, since the CBD part has become legally or legal virtually throughout the nation, there's the black market is producing synthetic CBD, which is extremely dangerous and extremely harmful to you. So you might want to get your products from a reputable company. Now, 15 to 50% experience transient psychotic symptoms for a brief time, but that's only when it's smoked. That's not oils or edibles or anything like that. Well, on the CBD portion. So, and it's not recommended for anyone under the age of 20 recreationally, due to the brain isn't fully developed until about 20 years old. Now, for medical uses, for those who don't smoke, there are CBD oils, creams, edibles, vaping, and pills. Just to clarify, CBDs would be the medicinal portion and THC would be more of the recreational portion. Now, what hasn't been talked about through the years are the effects of other drugs compared to cannabis. So, well, first off, the more dangerous parts of cannabis come from the recreational portion because there are higher levels of THC in it. But despite that, there are 0 deaths due to overdose, and that's worldwide. Now, speaking of other drugs, 2010, 28,329 people died from drug-related overdoses, and 60% of that is related to prescription meds. 25,692 died from alcohol, and that's alcohol and alcohol-related incidents. 30% of nicotine users are addicted, and 25% of heroin users are addicted, which are extremely higher than cannabis. And cannabis is actually said to be less addictive than caffeine. So, I mean, it cannabis has its negative problems or its negative portions, but compared to the alternative and other things that are out there, it does way more good than it does harm. Thank you for listening.